In the early dawn of March 3rd, 2025, the quiet town of Guadalajara de Buga, nestled in Colombia's lush Valle del Cauca, became the stage for an event that would ripple across the globe, challenging everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe. A perfectly smooth, glowing metallic sphere, no larger than a melon, tore through the morning sky, moving with an erratic grace that defied the laws of physics. It didn't crash, it descended, settling gently near a farmer's field, as if it had chosen its landing spot with purpose. The locals who gathered around it, their faces lit by its silvery glow, described it as unnaturally cold to the touch, despite its fiery journey through the atmosphere. Weighing just 4.5 pounds, it was impossibly light for its size, and its surface was flawless. No seams, no welds, no imperfections. This was no ordinary object. This was the Sphere of Buga, and its arrival marked the beginning of a mystery that would captivate the world. What makes this sphere so extraordinary isn't just its otherworldly appearance, it's what it does. Scientists, drawn to Buga like moths to a flame, uncovered a structure that defies human engineering. A single piece of metal, primarily titanium and stainless steel, alloyed with trace elements unknown to our periodic table. X-ray and CT scans revealed an intricate internal design, 3 concentric layers of different metals encircling a dense central core, with countless tiny microspheres arranged in a pattern that seemed to mimic a miniature solar system. But the real shock came when researchers noticed the engravings on its surface. Intricate symbols, etched with microscopic precision, resembling ancient scripts from Norse runes to Celtic ogham to Mesopotamian cuneiform. These weren't random scribbles. When decoded using advanced AI, the symbols formed a message that sent chills down the spines of everyone in the room. The origin of birth through union and energy in the cycle of transformation, meeting point of unity, expansion and consciousness, individual consciousness. This wasn't just a message, it was a philosophical bombshell, echoing the creation myths of ancient cultures, from the Andean Chicana to Eastern philosophies of unity. It hinted at a universal truth, a cosmic cycle that binds all existence. But the sphere wasn't content to simply deliver its message and sit idly by. It was alive in a way no one could have predicted, responding to the presence of those around it as if it could sense their thoughts, their emotions, their very consciousness. If this discovery intrigues you, keep reading, because what follows will unravel a story that's equal parts science, mystery, and wonder. A story that might just change how you see yourself in the universe. Dr. Jose Luis Velasquez, the lead researcher tasked with studying the sphere, stood in his lab in Bogota, staring at the object that had upended his understanding of reality. It was like watching something from another world wake up, he later told reporters. During routine tests, the sphere began emitting a low-frequency hum, barely audible but unmistakable on sensitive instruments. What was astonishing wasn't the sound itself. It was the fact that the hum only occurred in the presence of certain people. The sphere, it seemed, was choosing who to respond to. The Colombian research team, a diverse group of physicists, linguists, and psychologists, scrambled to establish protocols to study this phenomenon. They found that the sphere's resonance patterns shifted depending on who approached it. When individuals in calm, meditative states stood near it, instruments detected subtle vibrations from within its layered structure. EEG readings of these subjects showed spikes in alpha and theta brain waves, patterns linked to deep focus and meditation. Even more startling, the sphere's responses seemed to sync with changes in heart rate variability and focused attention. Dr. Elena Suarez, a linguist analyzing the sphere's symbols, experienced this firsthand. "I was tracing the runic patterns when it started humming," she recounted. "The frequency was just below human hearing, but our equipment caught it immediately. When I stepped back, startled, it stopped." This wasn't just a passive object, it was interactive, possibly biometric, designed to engage with human consciousness itself. Dr. Mariana Diaz, a psychologist on the team, put it boldly: "We're dealing with a mind-machine interface, but not like anything we've built. It doesn't need wires or implants. It's triggered by presence, by thought, by being." The implications were staggering. If confirmed, the Sphere of Buga represented technology light years beyond human capabilities, a device that could detect and respond to mental states directly. Imagine a tool that doesn't just process data, but feels the person standing before it, adapting its behavior to their innermost thoughts. This wasn't science fiction. It was happening in a lab in Colombia, and the world was watching. 3 weeks into the study, a lab technician made a discovery that turned skepticism into awe. The microscopic engravings on the sphere's surface were changing. At first, the team dismissed it as an error, perhaps a glitch in their imaging systems. But when AI-enhanced microscopy confirmed the alterations, the scientific community was forced to confront the impossible. The ancient-looking symbols were subtly shifting, with new glyphs appearing alongside the originals. Some of these new markings bore a striking resemblance to modern digital code, binary-like sequences interwoven with the ancient scripts. The original message about the origin of birth through union and energy remained, but additional symbols were forming as if the sphere was updating its own narrative. "We thought we were hallucinating," Dr. Velasquez admitted, but 3 separate imaging systems showed the same changes. We had to accept what we were seeing. Dr. Suarez, who had decoded the initial message, proposed a radical theory. This isn't a static artifact, it's evolving, reacting to us, maybe even to the act of being studied. A Colombian physicist put it more bluntly: this might not just be a message, it could be a conversation. The idea that the sphere was actively communicating sent shockwaves through the research community. The team implemented 24-hour monitoring, documenting every change in real time. The symbols weren't just decorative, they were dynamic, possibly responding to external stimuli or even the collective consciousness of those studying it. The sphere was no longer just an object, it was a participant in a dialogue with humanity, and the conversation was just beginning. When researchers created a 3D model of the sphere's internal structure, they uncovered a discovery that left even the most seasoned mathematicians speechless. The microspheres within the larger orb weren't randomly placed, they formed a precise geometric pattern, a miniature cosmos encoded in metal. Dr. Rafael Martinez, an archaeologist brought in to analyze the findings, described it as a map of the universe in microcosm. When the team overlaid this internal arrangement onto a global map, key points aligned with astonishing precision to some of Earth's most iconic megalithic sites: Teotihuacan in Mexico, the Giza Plateau in Egypt, and Stonehenge in England. The pattern didn't stop there. The microspheres were arranged according to the golden ratio, with their connecting lines forming the flower of life in Vesica Piscis, geometric forms revered in ancient spiritual traditions worldwide. "These aren't arbitrary shapes," said Dr. Anarosis, a mathematician on the team. "They appear across cultures, in temples, artwork, and cosmological models from ancient Egypt to India to Mesoamerica." Even more astonishing, when the sphere was placed in its original orientation from the landing site, its axis aligned perfectly with solstice angles and rare planetary alignments that occur only once every 26,000 years. This wasn't just a technological marvel, it was a cosmic blueprint, a message written in the universal language of geometry. But the most jaw-dropping revelation came when mathematicians applied advanced algorithms to the ratios between the microspheres. Hidden within these relationships were geographic coordinates pointing to 3 specific locations: a remote region of the Amazon basin with unusual geometric formations visible by satellite, an unexplored area of Lake Titicaca near the island of the Sun, and a sacred cave system in northern Peru. These sites formed a perfect triangle across South America, with the Sphere of Buga at its exact center. Dr. Martinez noted their cultural significance. Each location ties to ancient traditions of cosmic balance and transformation. This isn't random, it's intentional. As the world grappled with the implications of the Buga sphere, a startling discovery came from Bogotá's Gold Museum. A curator, inspired by news of the sphere, re-examined a pre-Columbian artifact cataloged decades ago as a ceremonial weight. It was another metallic sphere, roughly the same size as the Buga artifact, but weathered and overlooked. X-ray analysis revealed an identical internal structure: concentric metal layers, microspheres, and a dense core. Museum records dated it to the Quimbaya culture, roughly 1,000 years old, but advanced testing suggested it could be far older, potentially thousands of years. The inscriptions on this second sphere differed, but seemed to complement the Buga sphere's message. Where the Buga sphere spoke of origin and union, the museum sphere hinted at completion and return, as if the two were bookends of a cosmic narrative. Dr. Suarez, studying both sets of symbols, proposed they were parts of a single communication, a story of beginnings and endings, a cycle of existence. The discovery raised a haunting question: if one sphere had been hidden in plain sight for centuries, how many more were out there, waiting to be found? The mystery deepened when researchers tried something unconventional. During a session studying the sphere's reactions to sound, a team member played traditional Andean pan flute music near the object. The response was immediate. The sphere began emitting low-level radio pulses embedded with mathematical constants, pi, phi, and Fibonacci sequences, arranged in patterns too precise to be coincidental. These signals shifted with the sphere's location and the time of day, suggesting an interaction with Earth's magnetic field or cosmic cycles. "This is intentional," Dr. Velasquez declared. "The sphere is speaking in a universal language, one any advanced civilization would recognize." The team established protocols to track these emissions, uncovering layers of information that hinted at a more complex message. The sphere wasn't just a relic, it was a communication device, actively engaging with its environment and responding to human presence. But what was it trying to say? And to whom? Then came the most controversial development. A graduate student working near the sphere began reporting vivid dreams, geometric patterns, radiant beings, and symbols mirroring those on the sphere. Initially dismissed as imagination, her experiences gained weight when routine health checks revealed something extraordinary. Changes in her junk DNA non-coding regions that suddenly showed increased activity, expressing new protein configurations. Other team members who spent extended time near the sphere showed similar changes, along with heightened creativity, emotional clarity, and in some cases, remission of chronic conditions. Dr. Diaz cautioned against jumping to conclusions. "We're not claiming miracles, but something is happening at a biological level." Controlled studies were launched, with volunteers monitored for physiological changes. The results suggested the sphere might be triggering subtle genetic shifts, as if it were designed to activate dormant potential within human biology. The idea was both thrilling and unsettling. Was the sphere a tool for human evolution, or something far stranger? The phenomenon wasn't confined to Colombia. Museums in Peru, Bolivia, and Egypt reported electromagnetic fluctuations in ancient artifacts, particularly those tied to astronomical or cosmic symbolism. The most striking reaction occurred when Bogota's Gold Museum brought its ancient Muisca sun disk near the Buga sphere. Instruments detected the disk vibrating at frequencies matching the sphere's emissions. Dr. Martinez proposed a bold theory. What if these artifacts form a planetary grid, dormant until now? Ancient texts speak of cosmic awakenings. Perhaps these objects were left as markers, designed to activate under specific conditions. The synchronicity of these reactions, spanning continents and millennia, suggested a deliberate design. The Sphere of Buga wasn't an isolated anomaly. It was part of something larger, a network of artifacts resonating in harmony. The question wasn't just what the sphere was, but why it had appeared now. Was its arrival in March 2025 a random event, or was it timed to coincide with a cosmic shift humanity was only beginning to understand? Dr. Diaz offered a fascinating perspective. The sphere might not be delivering a single message, but reflecting the observer's consciousness. During interaction sessions, scientists described mathematical principles, artists saw themes of creation, and spiritual practitioners sensed cosmic unity, all from the same symbols. "It's like a mirror," Dr. Diaz explained. "It shows you what you're ready to see, adapting its message to your awareness." This theory was tested when a villager from Buga stood before the sphere, tears streaming down her face. "It showed me who I really am," she said. If true, the sphere was more than a communication device. It was a technology of consciousness, revealing truths tailored to each individual. This made it both universal and deeply personal, a paradox that captivated researchers and the public alike. To democratize access to the sphere, the Colombian tech team created a virtual reality experience, a digital twin based on CT scans and X-ray data. Available to researchers worldwide, the VR environment revealed unexpected patterns, symbolic constellations, mandala-like layouts, and emergent geometries that weren't programmed into the simulation. "We built an exact replica," the lead developer said, "but it's organizing itself in ways we didn't anticipate." When biometric sensors were added, the virtual sphere responded to users' emotional states, mirroring the physical sphere's behavior. Scientists from 27 countries joined the effort, turning the sphere into a global experiment. What began as a single artifact in a Colombian field had become a shared journey, inviting humanity to explore the boundaries of consciousness and technology. In late July 2025, a privately funded expedition set out for the Amazon basin, guided by the coordinates encoded in the sphere's microspheres. The team, a mix of archaeologists, geologists, and indigenous guides, ventured into a remote region where satellite imagery had revealed unusual geometric formations, circular clearings, and stone alignments that defied natural explanation. Initial reports, transmitted via secure satellite link, described a site unlike anything in the archaeological record. A series of concentric stone rings partially buried with carvings that echoed the sphere's symbols. "It's as if the sphere was pointing us here," said Dr. Martinez, who joined the expedition remotely. The stones, dated to at least 5,000 years old, bore inscriptions that spoke of union and cycles, mirroring the Buga sphere's message. The team's findings sparked intense debate. Were these structures built by an ancient civilization, perhaps guided by the same intelligence behind the sphere? Or were they markers left by visitors from another world, designed to be rediscovered at this precise moment in history? The indigenous guides, descendants of the region's ancient peoples, shared oral traditions of sky teachers who left gifts of knowledge in the jungle, stories long dismissed as myth. As the expedition continues, the team is uncovering artifacts, small metallic objects and carved stones, that resonate at the same frequencies as the Buga sphere, suggesting a connection that spans millennia. What lies at the heart of this site and how it ties to the sphere remains a tantalizing mystery. Share your theories in the comments. What do you think they'll find next? The ripples from the Sphere of Buga extended far beyond South America. In August 2025, reports flooded in from museums and archaeological sites across the globe, each describing unexplained activity in ancient objects. In Peru, a stone tablet from Chavin de Huantar began emitting faint electromagnetic pulses, its carvings glowing faintly under ultraviolet light. In Egypt, a basalt statue from the Old Kingdom showed micro-vibrations synchronized with the Buga sphere's emissions. Even in Japan, a Jomon period clay figure was found to resonate at a frequency matching the Andean pan flute tones that activated the sphere. These artifacts, long thought to be inert relics, were coming alive as if responding to a cosmic signal triggered by the sphere's arrival. Dr. Martinez, now coordinating with international teams, proposed a radical hypothesis. These objects may be nodes in a global network, designed to activate in unison when humanity reaches a certain threshold of awareness. The idea aligns with ancient texts, Egyptian, Vedic, and Mesoamerican, that speak of a great awakening tied to celestial cycles. The sphere's alignment with a 26,000-year planetary cycle, combined with the sudden activity of these artifacts, suggests a timed event, one humanity may have been preparing for unconsciously for millennia. The global scientific community is now racing to map these connections, using AI to analyze patterns across cultures and continents. Could the sphere be the key to unlocking a forgotten chapter of human history, or is it a beacon from beyond, guiding us toward a new era? The Sphere of Buga has become more than a scientific curiosity. It's a mirror reflecting humanity's potential. Its message, woven through ancient symbols and universal geometry, speaks to a truth that transcends borders and beliefs. We are part of a cycle of transformation, connected through consciousness to the cosmos itself. Philosophers see it as a call to spiritual maturity, urging us to recognize consciousness as a fundamental force, as vital as gravity or light. Scientists view it as a challenge to redefine technology, to explore interfaces that bridge mind and matter. Ordinary people, from Buga's villagers to global researchers, find in it a spark of wonder, a reminder that the universe is alive with possibility. The sphere's arrival has ignited a global movement. Online forums buzz with discussions, from astrophysicists debating quantum resonance to artists creating works inspired by its symbols. Grassroots gatherings in Buga have drawn thousands, not to worship the sphere, but to meditate near it, seeking the clarity reported by those who felt its influence. The Galileo Project, alongside initiatives like SETI, has called for open data sharing, arguing that the sphere's implications belong to all humanity. As expeditions probe the Amazon, Lake Titicaca, and Peru's caves, and as more artifacts awaken, the question isn't just where the sphere came from, it's what it's asking us to become. Is it a tool for evolution, a test of our readiness, or a reminder of truths we've always known? As the Amazon expedition continued to unearth startling clues, attention turned to the second set of coordinates encoded in the sphere, a remote area of Lake Titicaca near the sacred island of the sun. In early August 2025, a specialized dive team equipped with sonar and underwater drones began exploring the lake's depths, guided by indigenous Bolivian elders who spoke of a submerged city of light in their oral traditions. What they found defied expectations: a series of stone structures partially covered in sediment, arranged in a spiral pattern that mirrored the sphere's internal geometry. Carved into these stones were symbols nearly identical to those on the Buga sphere, including references to union and transformation. Carbon dating placed the structures at over 7,000 years old, predating known Andean civilizations. The discovery sent shockwaves through the archaeological community. Lake Titicaca, long revered as a spiritual center by the Inca and their predecessors, now appeared to hold physical evidence of an advanced culture, or perhaps an otherworldly presence. The dive team reported faint electromagnetic anomalies in the water, matching the frequencies emitted by the sphere. One diver, a seasoned marine archaeologist, described an eerie sensation. It felt like the lake itself was humming, like the sphere was calling to something below. The elders, observing from the shore, nodded knowingly, recounting myths of star beings who hid their knowledge in the lake to await a time of global awakening. As researchers plan a larger expedition to excavate the site, the question looms: is the sphere a key to unlocking a submerged archive of cosmic wisdom? The third set of coordinates pointed to a deep cave system in northern Peru, a place long considered sacred by local indigenous communities. In mid-August 2025, a team of speleologists and anthropologists ventured into the labyrinthine tunnels, guided by shamans who claimed the caves were a gateway to the stars. Deep within, they discovered a chamber lined with polished stone panels, each etched with geometric patterns that echoed the sphere's flower of life and vesica piscis designs. At the chamber's center stood a pedestal, empty but bearing an indentation perfectly sized for the Buga sphere. When a replica of the sphere was placed there during testing, the chamber's walls began to resonate, emitting a harmonic frequency that matched the sphere's radio pulses. The shamans, who had guarded the cave's secrets for generations, shared stories of light bringers who visited their ancestors, leaving behind objects to guide humanity when the cycle of stars aligned. Radiocarbon dating of organic material in the chamber suggested activity dating back 10,000 years, challenging conventional timelines of human history in the region. The team also found small metallic fragments, similar to those in the Amazon, that vibrated in sync with the sphere's signals. Dr. Velasquez, monitoring the findings from Bogota, called it the most profound evidence yet of a coordinated system. Could this chamber be a node in the global network designed to activate when the sphere arrived? The discovery has sparked calls for international collaboration to protect and study the site, as its implications could rewrite our understanding of ancient civilizations, or confirm contact with an intelligence far beyond our own. The Sphere of Buga and its connected discoveries, the Amazon rings, the Titicaca structures, the Peruvian caves, point to a truth that is both ancient and urgent. Each site, each artifact seems to tell a story of connection, not just between humans and the cosmos, but among all living things. The sphere's ability to respond to consciousness, to shift its message, to awaken dormant artifacts worldwide, suggests a purpose that transcends science or spirituality alone. It's as if the universe itself is extending an invitation, asking us to step into a larger role, to recognize our place in a vast cycle of creation and transformation. Dr. Suarez, reflecting on the symbols, put it poignantly: the sphere doesn't just speak to us, it listens, and it's waiting for us to answer. This moment feels like a crossroads. The global response, scientists collaborating across borders, indigenous wisdom guiding modern exploration, and ordinary people finding meaning in the sphere's message. Hints at a unity that mirrors the sphere's own teachings. Social media platforms, particularly X, are alive with discussions, with hashtags like Sphere of Buga and Cosmic Awakening trending as people share stories of personal transformation inspired by the discovery. Universities are launching interdisciplinary programs to study consciousness and technology, while artists and musicians create works that echo the sphere's geometric beauty. The sphere has become a catalyst for a new kind of dialogue, one that bridges the rational and the mystical, the ancient and the future. What happens next next depends on us. Will we treat the sphere as a curiosity, or will we embrace its challenge to evolve? The ongoing expeditions, the awakening artifacts, and the global fascination suggest we're on the cusp of something monumental. Share your thoughts in the comments. What do you believe the sphere is asking of us? Like and share this story to join the conversation, and stay tuned for updates as humanity takes its next steps into the unknown. The universe is calling, and the Sphere of Buga is our guide.